Stellaris 3.0.3 Open Beta patch is released, and there you can access it through the Steam Beta menu. We'll go through all the patch notes together and just talk a little bit about it when I notice something interesting. Especially, so there's balance, there's performance, there's UI, there's AI changes, modding changes, some little ones, and a whole lot of bug fixes. That is also very nice to see. So the pop growth is the main topic of this. Increase the minimum growth of planets near the top of the logistic growth curve from 10% to 10% from 1%. Significantly reduce the effect of empire pops on the required growth of new pops to 0.25 from 0.5, so decreasing the penalty for new pops, that it is halved. Reduce the number of pops required to upgrade capital buildings to 10, 25, 50 from 10, 40, 80. That's also making our job a lot easier. Also the AI's job, don't forget that. The AI has not been so good in this update. Hive worlds now also have +1 spawning drone job. Machine worlds now also have +1 replicator job. Resource consolidation homeworlds begin with a blocker negating this extra job until removed. The constructor bot Civic now also grants +1 building slot. The slave processing plants now also enable automatic resettlement for slaves on their planet, but reduce the rate at which the planet does so, which can be offset by transit hubs or other modifiers. They are very useful. Karamo Steel infrastructure and Durasteel infrastructure technologies now also grant +25% colony development speed, which is very interesting. Increase the duration of the prosperous unification planet modifier to 20 years from 10 years. Before it was there for forever, and that was very, very strong. So I can understand that they took it away a little bit. So it's a starting buff. That is good for 20 years. That's a strong buff still. Espionage-related edicts that lowered operation difficulty now instead increase code breaking, which will still reduce difficulty but will also have other benefits. Replace +10 maximum infiltration on Ruthless Competition and Shadow Council with +1 code breaking, so everything goes into code breaking a little bit more. The Criminal Syndicate Civic now also grants +1 code breaking. Reduce the alloy discount of GDF ships to 25%, but added an extra 10% discount to the resolution that expands the GDF. You can now no longer permanently lose your heterophasic engine, however losing control of it will wipe out all progress you had made in upgrading it. Wow! That's crazy. Slowed down purging by about 50% as we have significantly fewer pops in the game now. The exception is neutering, which is increased in speed from 500 months per pop to 10 months per pop. You now get 4 months worth of their purge output every time a pop is purged via forced labor, processing or chemical processing. Interesting. Slowed down first contact investigation times by about 50%, so it takes longer. Ion cannons, perdition beams and titan lasers are now considered energy weapons. Oh, thankfully. Finally. And benefit from repeatable technologies. Yeah, do away with these useless titans. They are useful now. Reduced criminal job effect on trade from -5 to -5 from -10, so it's a little bit easier. That has also been for sure affecting the AI, because the AI was not strong. The crisis though. Rogue Servitor biotrophy buildings now also increase planet capacity to compensate for the trophies within. Nice. Biotrophies now provide 1 unity instead of 2 and 1% complex drone output instead of 0.25%, but only provide any benefits when at or above 50% happiness. Makes sense. Increase the effect of the Rogue Servitor expanded breeding program to 20% from 10%. Terminal egress is now a black hole, which cannot be cracked. The resolution extra-dimensional exploration is now again a dangerous resolution, which lets you get the unbidden a bit early. Medical workers now also increase organic pop assembly by 5% and increase habitability by 2.5%. That's cool, it's cool. Significantly reduced the upfront energy cost of espionage operations. Yeah, I mean, at the start, who could afford this thing if you wanted to expand a bit? It was... Yeah, you could gear for it, but it was, yeah. Increase the power of starbase reactors. Fully upgraded bastions should be better at actually using all their weapon slots. Espionage edicts unlocked by quantum hacking now also grant +10 maximum infiltration level. POPs will not automatically resettle away from newly founded colonies until 5 years have passed. So your habitats will no longer have one worker flee before you can give them something to do. Goodness, no. Great, 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 great. Yeah, that has been an issue. The Gather Information operation now also grants +5 maximum infiltration level for 10 years, stacking with itself up to +20. Continuing to perform the operation will restart the 10-year timer if it's at +20 maximum infiltration level. Espionage operations no longer gain 1 insight no matter how bad the roll, contrary to what is stated on the UI. They now need a score of at least 2 to gain an insight. If the die rolls 10 and the score is below 2, an insight will still be gained to prevent operations from freezing entirely. Yeah, that needs to be cleared up, I think. Made menace rewards scale with the number of empires in the game. Yeah, that makes sense. Reverted the behavior that shipyards in occupied stations could be used to upgrade and build ships. Oh, yeah, that was odd. That was odd. Really, I had that occupied mega shipyard, and the enemy just continued to plop their ships out of it, even though I should have had it. Then I sent fleets in there, and they were just farming experience points. It was weird. So, let's go to performance and stability. Optimize spawning the L gate to not freeze the game. Yay! Fixed crash to desktop in OpenGL that might happen when kicked from an MP multiplayer while Empire selection screen is open. Good, good, good. Further optimized yearly tick from assimilation. Nice. The UI. The Necrophage Chamber of Elevation description now explains why the jobs provided by that building may vary. Added a tooltip in Diplomacy view for civics when you do not have sufficient intel to see them. Fixed some instances of text and UI overlap in the Become the Crisis view for some languages. Appended assign and unassign tooltip to Espionage Asset in Create Espionage Operation view. Added right-click to unassign Espionage Asset in Espionage Operation view. Yay. The best species for a habitable planet is now shown in the Galaxy View tooltip, and not only in the System View tooltip. Good, good, good. Added tooltips and hidden/disabled some UI elements to show that an occupied shipyard cannot be used. That makes sense. Then about the AI. Fixed Lithoid Tree of Life AI not ever colonizing or using the decision to transplant the Tree of Life to conquered planets. Yeah. Fix the AI reserving food for planetary decisions even though no decisions require food. My goodness me. Then we come to modding. Trigger has population control and has migration control are now no longer simple booleans but follow the format of has colonization control instead. Added intel effects surveyed attribute to country type for handling intel system toggle surveyed or unsurveyed planet status was previously handled by the primitives attribute. Has trigger now works. Added dissolve alliance effect. Fixed on first contact stage 1 no path using the wrong scope. Fixed the crash if you used an invalid starbase design in Create Starbase. Added error logging instead. Join war and join war on side effects no longer allows you to join a war if you're already at war against one of the war participants and will log an error if it's attempted. From in the active trigger of resolutions now refers to the target if valid. Added Galactic Emperor and Galactic Custodian scope changes. Added an effect field to declare war effect. Menace rewards can now have modifiers to scale the reward. Added should remove response message when a possible property for diplomatic actions to remove response messages of the diplo action type if the possible check fails. And now we come brace ourselves to the bug fixes. Bug fixes. Organic pop assembly now respects population controls. Didn't it? that was how the hive minds did it. Fixed cases where destroying an empire through war would not grant you the menace from destroy empires. Good. Fixed various error log messages relating to crisis objectives, along with several edge cases where the rewards were not granted when they should have been. Nice. Fixed an issue where the galactic community resolution categories would not be hidden if they contain targeted resolutions that there are no valid targets for. Fixed an issue where the acceptance breakdown for diplomatic actions was available even if you didn't have sufficient intel. Fixed another issue where an already proposed galactic community resolution could be passed even if not all of its conditions were fulfilled. Fixed scripted trigger scope validation. Fixed scripted effect scope validation. Fixed an issue where it was not possible to invite others to a federation if you were a custodian while a crisis was ongoing. Systems previously made visible no longer become unknown when your intel on a country is too low. Fixed tooltip of active operation in spy network view to show the operation's modifiers and not only the spy networks. Nice. Fixed an issue where the capital location of special empires such as the Caravaneers would not be revealed after establishing communication. Fixed long tooltip for war goal to close branch offices if they have multiple branch offices in your borders. An increased chance for auto-research to pick certain strategic texts. Fixed it being possible for the Caravaneers to request one of your systems when they lost theirs even if you have never met the Caravaneers. Fixed an issue where tooltips mentioning joining a war would sometimes be missing empire names and be oddly formatted. Fixed it being impossible to repeal the Pax Galactica. Oh, nice, good, yeah. Fixed an issue where the name of your ally wouldn't be displayed in a notification when joining a war as the Galactic Imperium ruler. Made Kettling country intel not affecting their planet's surveyed status for other empires. Fixed so aggressive stance does not trigger the wrong animation state to be set on ships. Fixed edge cases where the event to prompt you to consider first contact protocols happened quite late. Fixed cases where event rewards granting progress in a technology would not save that as a permanent research option. Fixed an issue in the diplomacy view where the closed borders icon would also appear when you were the one that had closed borders to the other empire. Fixed some scripted localization functions in German. Fixed some minor intel leaks when finding out why you cannot make a pact with an inwards perfectionist country and similar. Fixed base value for upkeep production costs sometimes missing in tooltip. Fixed excessive and unhelpful messages upon completion of a galactic rebellion, whether it fails or succeeds. Fixed an issue where the fleet manager showed that Federation and Galactic Defense Force fleets had command limits. Fixed an instance of a broken event title when an heterophasic engine had been destroyed. Unemployed lithoids will no longer move back to a doomed homeworld through auto-migration even if there are plenty of good jobs and housing available. Oh, nice. Can planet receive auto-migration added to game rules? Oh, nice. So you can exempt planets from auto-migration, which is great. Yeah. Purging a pop now gives menace even if the pop runs away to another empire. Updated Cradle of Life event text to account for intel levels. Fixed an issue where Galactic Defense Force ship sizes will just be shown as GDF name when adding a design to a fleet in the Fleet Manager. Corrected an event option which follows a successful completion of Operation Sabotage Starbase. If an opportunity to also destroy a defense platform arises, this action will no longer consume or attempt to consume a military asset on the relevant spy network. Also corrected a minor grammatical error, literally unplayable. Aggressive stance set on a transport fleet is now reapplied to it after an invasion is completed. Fixed it being impossible to abduct pops to necrophage purge them once their species is already set to undesirables who are to be necrophaged. Ooh, weird. Winning a crisis vassalization war no longer gives an additional notification that the war ended because the opponent was vassalized. You know what I really want is more become the crisis options. Vassalize everyone or something like that, but in a really weird way, so they become food. Fixed strange occurrences when a starbase is reconstructed on the monthly tick when fighting a wipe them out war and the system has multiple colonies of which the assailant only controls some. Changing species rights of a cyborg psionic species now works properly instead of using the species rights requirements of the base species. Add its scroll bar to victory view summary to avoid text overflow. Fixed first colony event firing with inappropriate text when settling tomb and relic worlds. Nice. Modifiers from Crisis perks now show up with names. Further fixes to Finders Keepers event. Planet colonizations that can never be finished will now be properly aborted on a monthly basis. Fixed a broken first contact notification in Brazilian Portuguese. Fixed an integer overflow in border distances where if two countries had no possible connections, they would have 1000 reasons to be a vassal, mainly happening in modded games. Modifiers from relics should show up properly. Fixed a bug where if you captured the heterophasic engine in a total war, it would not be destroyed and would carry on any in-progress upgrade. Oh god. Fixed ownerless megastructures not cancelling upgrades. The area of the envoy portrait in the envoy selection view should be correctly clickable. Determined exterminators, fanatic purifiers and devouring swarms now remain true to their purity ideology and may no longer adopt lost space amoeba. Okay. Fixed the event for establishing communications with Caravaneers inappropriately referring to them by their precoms code name. Fixed excessive rounding on species rights indicator for speed of purging. Fixed an error which would prevent Operation Armed Privateers from successfully spawning a privateer fleet inside a valid target empire. Fixed a typo in the purging code that meant you could have negative progress in purging the month after a pop is purged. Oh. Fixed contingency worlds wiped out by Star Eaters not counting as destroyed. Fixed a large number of events, especially in espionage, where failing to account for general neutral plantoids and fungoids would cause mistakes in English grammar. In other words, occurrences of they is are now correctly rendered they are. Grammar fixes for descriptions of the Master's teachings edicts. Fixed oddities when a machine uprising is given planet that is under colonization. Fixed hive worlds not getting the full benefit from food processing centers. Fixed some typos in German. Acceptance breakdown is now hidden when proposing diplomatic actions if intel level is not high enough. Fixed it being possible to pass most of the custodian imperial resolutions multiple times when they were already active. Fixed for crash on destruction on the last planet of the galactic custodian. Fixed the unbidden crisis dimensional portals and anchors being destroyed by Star Eaters. Fixed a bug with being unable to survey an anomaly in foreign territory. The Imperial Crusade resolution can no longer be proposed against fallen empires or awakened empires. If two countries reach crisis level 5, the galactic community will now correctly declare war on both. The very first pop colonizing a planet will no longer feel strangely compelled to abandon their duties to go work in that odd factory. Fix the final event in the Cybrex precursor chain firing at the wrong time. Fixed typo in Nemesis main theme name in the music player. Fixed bug when fleet icon appears far away from ships. Removed some event script that was deprecated 4 years ago. Nice. Robots can no longer be acquired as assets, unless the targeted empire has unlocked droids. Megastructure icon is now shown on the galaxy map for L-Gate systems. Nice. Fixed bug when fleet icon appears far away from ships. Fixed scopes in Caravaneer's local franchise event so that the event text correctly refers to the country rather than the species. Fixed an issue where brain slugs would not impact colony stability as intended. If the initiator fails to win an Imperial Crusade, the resolution is no longer left active into perpetuity. Fixed cases where the galactic community would fail to declare war on the Empire, becoming the crisis because the potential war leader was already at war with them. The crisis is now removed from all wars with galactic community members and a new war is created. Nice. Fixed various oddities where passing the revolution to declare a crisis by vote would lead to Federation members of the newly declared crisis fighting against them, despite remaining Federation members. They will not now support the crisis in this case. Note, countries reaching crisis level 5 will continue to not keep their Federation allies. Yeah, they are too openly a threat. Fixed an issue where if the galactic community declared war on one country as the crisis and then passed the resolution to declare a subsequent country in the crisis, various issues would ensure. For example, the war ending immediately or the galactic community's leader having to face the crisis alone without the members to back it up. Fix the tooltip for why you can't replace a building saying there were too few pops. Fix the confirmation message for commercial pacts and research agreements showing the information on their benefits reversed. Fix an issue where extra-dimensional exploration would not let Gestalts learn about Zro. The superconductive robot trait no longer requires droid technology, since robots can now work technicians' jobs. Fixed certain first contact stages getting stuck and never progressing. Neutronium armor will now properly upgrade to Dragon Scale armor. Fixed it being possible to target genocidal empires with the Imperial Crusade, better to just declare crisis on them. Sapient robots like synthetics, including those created through synthetic ascension, can now utilize the auto-migration system. AI servitude policies will restrict their migration as if they were slaves, in which case they will relocate if a slave processing plant exists on the planet. Fixed mistaken for food espionage random event permanently stopping the operation's progress. Envoy substance abuse events can now no longer happen for Gestalts, either as the source of the envoy or the source of the substances. Fix the confirmation message for commercial pacts and research agreements showing the information of their benefits reversed. Simplified statement. Fixed menacing ships not displaying weapon models properly. Spawn Star Eaters now use correctly dimensioned thruster components. A Galactic Custodian or Galactic Emperor will now always be able to propose Council resolutions even if the Council has been abolished. Replaced references to spy power and trigger localization, instead referring to a spy network's infiltration level. Fixed mercantile diplomatic stance being visible to Gestalt consciousness empires, taunting them with a tantalizing yet impossible promise of internal trade. Wrong advisor voice is removed from available ones for the case when a planet is successfully invaded. Vassals created by the Galactic Sovereign no longer get the Galactic Sovereign Civic. Espionage Operation Asset category icons now show tooltips with category names. The Pax Galactica is now correctly binding on the Emperor. Notifications for refused peace offers are now properly removed when a war has ended, and some country modifiers that were removed much too slowly should now be removed faster. What everyone should know, 303 has an optional beta patch. You have to manually opt in to access it. Go to Steam Library, right-click on Stellaris, Properties, Betas tab, select Stellaris Test Branch, and there's also 303 in it. I've also made a community post on YouTube about it. So, that said, that were all the patch notes. Thank you for watching and happy gaming to you. We'll see each other in another video, probably in Stellaris or in another one. Have a great time until next time and happy gaming. This is Immanuel Can signing out. See you soon and happy gaming.